Well, welcome everybody to Reach and Read. My name is Katie and I work at the Sacramento Public Library where books are just the beginning. We're so excited to have you here for this program and to have local yoga instructor Kat Sun with us today. And we will get to her in just a moment, but first I wanted to mention a few things. So first is just some housekeeping. So we are doing this in a webinar format, so all participant microphones and video have been disabled. But if you have a question or a comment, please feel free to use the Q&A button that you'll find at the bottom of your screen. You can share something there and either myself or Kat will get back to you throughout the program. If you're having any audio related issues, please exit the program and re-enter. We find that doing that will typically solve that issue. And if you need closed captioning at any point during the program, just click the live transcript button that you'll find at the bottom of your screen. You'll click that button, wait just a moment, and then you'll see the closed captioning pop up and you can follow along. And also this program is being recorded and will be shared to the virtual yoga playlist that's available on our YouTube channel. And in case you haven't checked it out before, you can find us under Sacramento Public Library. There's some really great recordings that you can revisit or share with a friend. And make sure to stick around after the yoga demonstration for a short book talk based on this week's theme. All right, and I'm just going to breeze through these things here. So I did want to mention that we have quite a few health resources available at the Sacramento Public Library, just in case you weren't aware. So like I mentioned, we have those past recordings of virtual yoga programs available. We do virtual Zumba on Mondays at 5:30 and virtual Zumba Gold on Wednesdays at 4. And Zumba Gold is great for beginners and older adults to join. So you can feel free to pop over there and check that one out too. And you can also check out a book about the benefits of exercise, mindfulness, and yoga from the library collection. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you and turn things over to Kat. So Kat, take it away, and everyone please enjoy.
Great. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. So we are focused on the 5 elements for this 5-week series. Last week, we worked with the element of earth. So we're starting from the most gross element and then working towards the most subtle. So last week we worked with earth, and today we will focus on the element of water. And I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but in the Ayurvedic system, at least that I studied, we correlate each element with a certain energy center of the body. So last week the earth element is connected with our root chakra, the root energy center, and it has a sound of a seed sound, and that sound is lum. So this week we are working with the water element, and that moves up to the second energy center at the low belly region, and that has a seed sound that is vam. So if you like to incorporate a little sound, you can also do that while we're practicing, or it's just nice information to know. And so this week we are working with the water element, and they say that we are made up 70% of water or fluids. So we're actually a huge component of our being is this fluid water element, and the water element is related with kind of our emotional body as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So as always, I like to have a blanket, or maybe you can have a little pillow or cushion for your head. I have a couple of yoga blocks and a yoga strap. So those are kind of the general things we always have. If you have anything like that at home, you might want to have them nearby. And then we're going to start on our bellies this morning. So let's go ahead and get started on our bellies. I like to have something for my head. And then I've got a yoga mat here. So you just want to make sure you're on a surface that's comfortable. And once you arrive onto your back, if it's comfortable for you, you can have your knees bent with your feet on the floor. Have your feet a little bit wider apart and your knees knock in. And my cat is really wanting to snuggle right now. I apologize. So I'm offering this from home. And she's doing exactly what we're going to do. We're going to pause for a moment, and then we're going to do a little belly massage. But first, just allow yourself to arrive onto your back. Maybe close your eyes. If it's comfortable, you can maybe open your mouth, then stretch out your face, stretch out your tongue, wiggle out your jaw. And as your lips close, just let your lips be soft. The mouth is soft. And take a moment to arrive together into our practice together. So last week with the earth element, we were really focused on the density and solidity of the physical body. Today, as we focus on the water element, we're going to focus more on our fluidity, our inner sense of fluidity. So as you arrive, just feel into your physical body first. Feel the solidity of that earth supporting us from below. And then noticing your breath, breathing in and out. And as you start to settle in, maybe just notice the sense of inner fluidity. Maybe you can feel your pulse. So the water element is not just water, but it's also the blood that flows through us, the plasma, our saliva, and our urine, the sweat, all of that. That's all the water element, the physical body. So just tuning into your breath this morning. Maybe bringing your hands onto your belly. Once you got a cat sitting on your belly. And just feel now that rise and fall of your breath. Feel that fluid movement of the breath as it moves in and out without any effort on your part. Just noticing that breath that continues, moves in and out. Then when you're ready, you can start with your hands maybe on your low belly, right above your pubic bone. And you can use the pads of your fingers. You might put one hand, like you might say, for instance, your right hand can be on your belly and your left hand can be on top of the right hand, just to give yourself a little more pressure. And you can use your hand to massage your low belly, starting from the base of the belly, so right above your pubic bone. And then just very small, slow circles. Start to circle the finger pads over your belly towards the right. And then you'll find, as you move towards the right, you'll find that hip bone that kind of juts up. So you're just staying on the inside of the bone. Stay on the perimeter of the belly. Keep circling up. And then you'll get to right underneath your ribs. So circling along the bottom of the ribs till you get to the center bottom of the ribs. And continue with the circular motion. Oh, she's left. Okay. So continue with the circular motion and moving it towards the left, along the bottom ribs, towards that left hip bone, and then back down towards above your pubic bone. So let's maybe just take a couple of rounds like that. So often we don't really explore our belly region, and yet there's so much here. But just take a moment. You're in control of how much pressure, you're in control of how deep you dig. And if going in circular motions doesn't work for you, then just walk your fingertips. Again, you can use the fingertip pads, the pads of the fingers of their fingertips, and just kind of walk. You can use your hands and kind of poke underneath the ribs. And as you move around, notice how different parts create maybe different sensations, maybe different emotions might arise. So we hold a lot in our belly. Maybe certain parts, as you walk through it, you even feel a little nauseous. If that's the case, go easy. But just walking around the perimeter of the belly. And then slowly, slowly, so we're moving in this clockwise direction. Slowly, slowly, you can start to walk that circle in little by little. Maybe every lap you make around the belly, you come in just a little bit more, eventually working towards not on the belly button, but just around the belly button. But take your time. Let this be that inner exploration. So our practice together is always an opportunity to dive a little deeper inwards, to reconnect with ourselves. So noticing your breath, feeling any sensations that arise. Also noting any emotional components that may come up, and just observing, right? Just acknowledging, but without clinging onto anything. So if emotions do arise, you just acknowledge it and then you let it go. No need to get caught up in any story of it. Okay. And then once you get to like the center of the belly, you're still walking around the belly button, but not on the belly button, okay? So not on the belly button, just around the belly button. And then let's take the palm of the hand now and place it on top of the belly button. So again, one hand on the belly button, the other hand on top. And then we're just gonna circle. So now it's the palm. So rather than fingertips, you're using your hand to kind of soothe out that energy that you just kind of stirred up. So nice, smooth, circular motions from the belly button. Gently smooth it back out. So spiraling still in that clockwise direction. This is the direction that the colon, you move up the ascending colon on the right, across the transverse colon, and then down the descending colon on the left. So we're going in the same direction that the colon moves in. So just nice circular movements along your belly. Make sure you're breathing. And then once you get to the periphery of the belly, again, gently start to circle it back in, nice and slow, maybe a few laps until you get right above your belly button again. And once you arrive over your belly button, just pause. Just feel the weight of your belly, your hands on your belly button. Take a nice breath in through your nose and exhale it out. And with your hands on your belly button, if you want to do a little sounding, you can even make that sound, or it could be a silent sound within, but maybe just focusing on that sound, VUM, like with a V, V-A-M, VUM. So you can make a few rounds of that, VUM, 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 VUM. And slowly, slowly let it be a little more quiet until eventually it ends up just being an inner sound as you focus on your belly. Okay, and then from here, let's go ahead. We're gonna reach our arms out to the side. So today with the water element, we're gonna focus on more kind of gentle, fluid, flowing movements, a gentle, fluid, flowing practice. So with our arms out to the sides, palms up, our feet are planted on the floor with our knees bent. Have your feet a little bit wider apart than the hips, so maybe about mat width apart if that's comfortable for you. Let's take that breath in, inhaling, and now as you exhale, spin your head to the right and let your knees drop to the left. Inhale, we bring it up through center, and exhale, other direction, head to the left, knees spin to the right. So like that, with your breath, nice and easy, keep it fluid. Oscillating side to side, knees and head moving in opposite directions. No rush to get there. So let the whole journey be a part of the practice. If it feels good in your body to pause on one side, feel free to pause at any time. If you are pausing, then keep spinning your knees in that direction and your head in the opposite direction. You're pausing, just make sure you take it on the second side as well. Give yourself enough time to pause on both sides and feel into it. Good, and then we'll bring it back to neutral. Once we're back in neutral, we're gonna hug our knees into our chest and just rock a little side to side here. Here you can feel maybe a little massage into the low back as you hug your knees into your chest and rock. Now if your arms don't wrap around your legs, you can use your hands. And if that doesn't work, you can always use a strap. If you don't have a strap at home, you can use a dog leash or a belt that you wear around your waist, or a necktie, a sturdy scarf, anything like that to help extend your reach. So you can just wrap the strap, like if your legs are further out, you can take the strap around your legs and then hold the strap to hug the knees in towards you. Yeah. So just rock a little side to side here. And then let's go ahead and circle our ankles in the air. So circling your ankles. I like to mirror the feet. So all 10 toes are pointing in and then all 10 toes rotate out. But sometimes I see people taking both feet moving in the same direction. So you can see the difference in that and how it feels. But just make sure you go in both directions with the ankles. Okay. And then let's just point and flex through the feet a few times. And then we're going to split the knees apart, hug them into your armpits and rock a little side to side. So just get your knees as far apart away from each other as you comfortably can, and then hug them in towards you. And just rock a little side to side here. And then from here, you can continue like that, or you can come into happy baby if that works in your body. So for happy baby, soles of the feet are pointing up to the sky, shins are more or less perpendicular to the floor, and then we can clasp behind our knees, or outer shins, outer ankles, or outer edges of the feet. But make sure that your shoulders stay resting on the floor, back of the neck stays long, and forehead and chin are about the same level. So try to avoid reaching up for the feet, and then your shoulders are lifting off the floor, the back of the neck is crunched, and your chin is jutting above your forehead. This tells your nervous system that you're not safe, so you want to make sure that you let your chin be at the same level or lower than your forehead, and you clasp wherever you can. And just gently rock a little side to side in your feet, your happy baby. Good. And then we'll just do a little bit of general stretching for our back before we move on. So keeping your right foot as it is, release your left foot onto the floor with your left knee bent. And then just continue to hug that right knee in, either into the armpit or into that half happy baby position. And just take a breath here. From here, we're going to take our right foot, we're going to cross the right ankle past the left knee. And then you're going to flex that right foot that's lifted. So flexing the right foot, think about pressing out through the inner heel and ball of the big toe. And then the pinky side of the foot, the outer edge of the foot, like you want to hug the outer edge back up towards the outer shin. Right? So you're lengthening through the inner line as you hug the outer line back up. Okay, from here, take the heel of each palm, slide the palms down the leg right into your hip crease where the thigh and the torso meet. Press the heels of the palms into the thighs as you gently press your low back into the floor. And just breathe into your outer hips here. Specifically, you'll probably feel it in the right hip. If this is plenty of sensation for you, you just keep it like this. Otherwise, we're going to take the right hand. So it's the right foot that's lifted. It's the same hand. The right hand is going to go into the hole between the legs. And we lift the left foot, and we're going to take our hands and clasp behind the left thigh. Now, if you don't reach, then again, you can use your strap, slide it behind the thigh, and then you use your hands, one hand on each side of the strap to help bring the leg in. Now, for those of you who can easily slide your hands to the front of the shin, you can also do that. If your hands come to the shin, you can walk your hands towards the top of the shin, like by the, just underneath the knee. And then like you want to drag your knee down towards the ankle, but you don't really move the hands, but that action will help you deepen the stretch into the outer right hip. Now that's if your hands are on the front of the shin. If you're back here behind the thighs, so just stay with that. You can use your hands to bring your left knee in towards you, and then if your right elbow is right there, you can gently use your right elbow to send the right knee away. But listen to your body. So the body has so much wisdom. So as we practice yoga, we really start to cultivate that inner listening to the body, listening to the body's communication with us. So breathing into this. And then again, here, let's circle the left ankle in the air. And circle your left ankle the other direction. All right, and then we're going to just go ahead and release that. We're going to plant the left foot back on the floor as we open our arms wide into the T, palms up. Walk your left foot to the left side of the mat now. And then as you exhale, let both knees rock to the right. So the weight of your right ankle helps your inner left knee towards the floor. You might be up here, you might be here, you might be down. If it's too much pressure for your left knee, then you're going to take your right ankle off the knee and just place the foot on the floor instead. Otherwise, the weight of the ankle just helps us with a little resistance to help get more of a stretch through that left upper top of the left quads and hip flexor area. Breathing into this low belly, so as maybe the outer waist, wherever you feel it. With a breath in and a breath out. And now we're going to release. And just uncross your right foot. Take a moment, just notice the difference from one side to the other. Both feet are planted on the floor. Feet are about hip width apart. You're going to keep your right foot on the floor as oh, actually, no, you're going to hug your knees into your chest and again, rock a little side to side. And again, split your knees into your armpits, either rocking side to side here or coming into happy baby again on both sides. And just breathe, gently rock a little. We're going to hang on to the left foot where it is as we bring the right foot onto the floor with the right knee bent. Again, just take a moment here. Maybe with the half expression, you find you have a little more range to bring that left knee in a little bit more. Just breathing into wherever this pose is for you, whether you're hugging the knee in or you're in half happy baby. From here, we're going to cross the left ankle past the right knee. So get that ankle past the knee on the outside of the knee. And now this left foot that's lifted, I'm going to flex the foot. Because when we flex the foot, we start to engage the muscles and we start to protect the knee joint. And then again, think about pressing out through the inner heel and the ball of the big toe. And the outer edge of the foot's going to hug back in towards the outer shin. So again, that action helps to protect around the knee joint. We're going to take our hands, slide the heels of the palms all the way down to the joint where the thighs and the torso meets, right at the hip crease. And gently press your hands into your thighs as you press your low back into the floor. So now maybe there's some sensation in that outer left hip. Just breathe into what you find. Again, if there's a lot here, you might just keep it here as you breathe into it. For those of you who are moving on, we're going to take the left hand, so left foot's lifted, same hand, left hand goes into the hole between the legs as we lift the right foot and we clasp behind the right thigh. Or again, you can use your strap if you need. Or for those of you who can easily clasp the front of the shin instead, you can switch your hands to the shin. So if you're taking the shin, again, walk your hands up to the top of the shin, right underneath the knee, and then like you want to drag the knee down towards the ankle, but the hands don't really move, but that action will help you deepen into the stretch in your outer left hip. So whichever version you're in, take a few rounds of breath here. And then again, we can circle that lifted right ankle in the air and circle it the other way. Good. You can flex a few times. And we're going to go ahead and release that, allowing your right foot to come back to the floor. Open your arms out wide into the T, palms up. Walk your right foot to the right side of your mat now. And as you exhale, both knees are going to rock to the left. So weight of that left ankle now helps the inner right knee down towards the floor. So again, listen to your body. Make sure this is appropriate for you. If it's too much for the knee, you take the ankle off of the knee and you just place it on the floor next to it. Okay? Or if this isn't working your body for any other reason, again, you're going to listen to your body. Do what feels best in your body. Otherwise, breathing into the stretch along this right side now. The top of the quads up to the hip flexor, maybe into the side body here on the right. And then we'll go ahead and unwind and bring both feet down onto the floor. And let's just straighten both legs out. Let your arms rest to the sides. Go ahead and flex and point your feet a few times here. And then let your feet roll out and just take a moment and feel the effects. Check in with your breath. Maybe you can feel your blood, your pulse moving. Okay. From here, we're going to, hopefully y'all have maybe a block, a yoga block. If not, you can roll up like a thick towel or something and roll it up nice and tight. Or, maybe you've got like some firm little cushions or something in the house you can use. Okay, so we're going to take our yoga block. We're going to, again, bend our knees, feet on the floor. Here, I'm going to take the blanket from out underneath my head. But for some people, if doing that, your chin's really jutting up, you might find you still want to keep a little pillow underneath your head. Okay, we're going to take the block and slide it in between our thighs. Feet are hip width apart, and we're bringing our feet close towards our hips, just as close as you can comfortably do so. Here, you can see my fingertips can touch my heels. That may or may not be the case for you. Okay, and then you're going to spin your toes in just a little bit, just a little micro pigeon toe. So not too much, but just a little bit to get a little more space in our sacrum. Hands are going to rest by the sides of the body. Now we're just going to hug the block between our thighs, and then we're going to spit the block towards the feet. So think about like you're pezzing, the candy pez. You're going to pez the block towards your feet, like you're spitting the block towards your feet. You keep that action in your thighs as you pin your tailbone up into the block, and you lift your hips maybe just an inch off the floor. And then you release, bring it back down. Once you're down, again, hug the block, spit it towards the feet, pin that tailbone up into the block, press through your feet to lift your hips, and maybe you can come up just a little bit higher. And again, bring it back down. We're just going to come into that a few times. Again, hug the block, spit it towards the feet, pin the tailbone up, and lift your hips. And down. Okay, now take the block out from between your thighs. From here, we're going to do a little bit of core work because we're focusing on this area. So let's interlace the fingers behind the head. We're going to press our elbows into the floor, broaden your chest. Inhaling, arch your low back off the floor. So you're pressing your sacrum down. Sacrum's that triangle bone above the butt crease at the base of the spine. So sacrum into the floor, but low back arches off the floor. So like you could roll a marble underneath you right now. This is the inhale. As you exhale, you're going to reverse that. Press your low back down, curl your tailbone up off the floor, and then hug your elbows together. Bring your chin towards your chest. So just a little crunch. Inhale, bring your elbows back down, arch your low back off the floor, broaden the heart, look up. Exhaling, curl it up. So as slow as you can go. So rather than getting a lot of repetitions, see how slowly can you move. And really linking your movement with your breath. As you inhale, you're expanding that front body. And as you exhale, you're curling up. As you curl up, you're expanding the back body. Okay, so we're going to add on. So if this is plenty, you just keep it like this. Otherwise, if you like, the next time you exhale, you can bring your right elbow towards your left hip. Inhale, bring it back down, expand the front body. Exhaling, left elbow crosses the midline towards the right hip. So we're just starting to add a bit of a twist in here. Again, inhale down. So like that, curling to the sides, alternating sides. Again, see if you can move it nice and slow. Keep it fluid, right? So like water, like you're moving through water. Okay, so continuing just like that, or again, adding on if that's appropriate. So if you're adding on, the next time your right elbow comes towards your left hip, you can lift your left foot and let that knee and the elbow tap. Inhale, bring it back down. Really expand the front body every time you land. Exhale, other side, knee and elbow maybe tap. Again, nice and slow, bring it back down. So again, you can continue just like this. If it's not appropriate, keep the feet on the floor. If it's not appropriate to twist, then just move up and down. If you're adding on though, the next time your right elbow comes towards your left knee, you can press out through your left heel and extend the foot up. And then you can release your right hand and reach your right hand past the left leg. And then again, hand behind the head, knee bends, expand the front body, exhaling, curling up, left elbow to right knee, press up through that right heel, and then release your left arm past the right leg. And bring it back down. So different variations for different people. Take the one that works best for your body this morning. Every day is different. So what worked yesterday may be different than what works today. So just honor your body where it's at. Really cultivating that inner listening and honoring. Okay, let's just do one more set each side. Take your time, no rush. Make sure you're breathing, you're not holding your breath. Okay, and then the next time you completed both sides, you come down, just take a beat. Press your elbows into the floor, arch your low back off the floor, and expand the front body. Again, exhaling, we're going to curl up through the center. Option now to lift both feet, both elbows, tap the knees, and inhale through center. Expanding, and exhale, curl it up. Just one more. Stay with me if you can. Inhale. Exhale, curl it up. Okay, and then inhale, bring it back down. We're gonna open our arms out to the sides again, palms up, walk your feet wide apart, and just windshield wiper your knees again side to side. Stretch that out. Okay, so since we're focusing on this low abdominal area, we're gonna do a little bit more core work. You guys might say, are we focusing on water or fire? You might be feeling some fire. Okay, so let's take the block again between our thighs. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Bring your feet back to hip width apart. Interlace your fingers with the other thumb on top, so the awkward clasp underneath your head. Now, we're gonna take our feet off the floor with our knees bent. And again, hug the block between your thighs and spit the block towards the bottom of the mat. So you're inner spiraling those thighs. You keep that action as you pin your tailbone up into the block. Your hips might just lift like half an inch, maybe an inch. It's very micro movements, okay? So not big movements. So keep your tailbone pinning up into the block. Hips are slightly lifted, inhaling. As you exhale, keep your elbows open, lift your head straight up. As you inhale, bring your head back down, and again, pin your tailbone up into the block. Exhale, head up, elbows open. Inhale, head down, pin that tailbone up. Exhale, head up. Inhale, head down, pin your tailbone up. Exhale, last one, head up. Inhale, head down, bring your feet down. Take a moment to take the block out. And again, walk your feet a little bit wider apart and windshield wiper it a little side to side. But you know what? We're going to come into that again. last set. Okay, so once you're ready, feet are on the floor, knees bent, hip width apart. Again, take your block. And interlace your hands behind your head again. So we're going to do what we just did. Same thing. Take your feet off the floor. You can do the exact same thing. Hug the block, spit it towards the bottom of the mat, pin your tailbone up. Or for those of you who would like, you can now straighten your legs up to the sky. Feet are flexed. And just get your feet right over your hips. So again, whether your knees are bent or your legs are straight, you're hugging the block, you're spinning the block towards the bottom of the mat. You're pinning your tailbone up into the block to lift your hips like maybe just half an inch off the floor. Keep that. Inhaling here. Exhale, elbows open, head lifts. Inhale, head down, pin that tailbone up. Exhale, head up. Good. Inhale, head down, tailbone up. Exhale, head up. Just two more. Stay with it. Inhale, head down, tailbone up. Exhale, head up. Last one. Inhale, head down, tailbone up. Exhale, head up. All right, that's it, I promise. Bring it down, bend the knees, bring your feet down, take the block out. And one more time, arms open wide, walk your feet mat width apart, and just windshield wiper your knees a little side to side. All right, so hopefully you're really in touch now with this kind of belly region. Nice and in your awareness, nice and active. Hug your knees into your chest, rock a little side to side here. And then we're gonna roll over to one side to come on up. So once we're up, let's take a moment just to find a comfortable seat. Maybe that means sitting on the edge of a blanket or a cushion. And rock to the front edge of your sit bone. So I like to sit at the front edge of my support. That helps me come more towards the front of my sit bones, helps me arch my low back in a little bit. And then let's just take some shoulder circles here. All right. And then let's make fists with our hands, and we're going to circle out our wrists. Just circle them the other way. We just want to warm up our wrists a little bit before we put weight on them. And then let's shake out those hands, interlace our fingers, and make those figure eights. So again, remember, try not to get all crazy with the elbows. Let the elbows be quiet, and you're really getting the movement through the wrists. And then just reverse the direction, take it in the other direction. And then take a moment and switch the clasp. Other thumb on top and figure eight. And then again, other direction. Good. And then shake it out. From here, go ahead and plant your hands onto the floor. And you're going to start to spin your fingers out so the underbelly of the wrist are facing each other, thumbs point forward. And just see if you can put a little bit of weight. You're just doing your best to ground the whole palm, but maybe for some, the heel of the palm might be off the floor. You're just seeing what's your range here, breathing into stretching the wrist a little. And then come off, spin your fingers forward, and then spin your fingers inside, so maybe the tips of the middle finger can touch. And again, see if you can ground the palm from the balls of the fingers, the mounds of the fingers, to the heel of the palm. And then again, see if it's appropriate to put a little weight into your hands. And sorry, that's my dad, if you can hear him. My elderly father lives with me, so sometimes you might hear him in the background. Okay, and then again, lift off. So again, point your fingers forward, spin them out, and now you're going to see if you can continue spinning them in that direction. So eventually you maybe are able to get your fingers to point back towards you as the thumbs point out and the underbelly of the wrist point forward. So you're going to just see what is that for you. And again, the fingertips are down, and then maybe you can get the finger mounds, the finger pads, down as well. And maybe you can get it all the way to the heel of the palm. And then if you're there, you can see if you can put a little bit of weight into that. So just stretching out our wrists and the forearms. And then you're going to lift off the heels of the palms so that your thumb's floating in the air, and we're going to circle the thumbs a little. Circle them the other way. All right, and then we're going to come off and just shake that out. And then big shoulder circles again. All right. From here, let's go ahead and come onto hands and knees. So if you need extra padding underneath your knees, you can open up your folded blanket. Sometimes I often see people, they have those gardening foam pads, for the knees. That works really great to give your knees a little extra support. And if this is not appropriate to be on your hands and knees, you can sit in a chair and do seated cat-cow instead, right? If you're on hands and knees, then palms down on the floor. If it's not appropriate for your wrist to have your palms down, you can make fists and put the knuckles down. If you're able to get palms down, take a moment to find the ball of your index finger and then the ball of the thumb. So those two inner points get grounded first, and then you broaden the palm to get the rest of the hand down. We're going to stack our shoulders over our wrists and our hips over our knees. And we're just going to cat-cow with the ebb and flow of our breath. So as you inhale now, broaden those sit bones and slide the sit bones up towards the sky. As you do so, your belly hammocks down, but can you keep hugging your navel up to the spine? And then shoulder blades slide down the back as your heart comes forward. Maybe you can look up a little bit, chin forward. As you exhale, it's the reverse. So tailbone down, inflate your kidney band, back body arches up, chin towards your chest, crown of the head towards the floor. So we're just gonna go through this cat-cow, a few cycles with our breath. So again, if being on hands and knees is not appropriate and you want to do this seated in a chair, then you can sit in a chair of some sort, just making sure it's stable. It doesn't have to be a yoga chair. You can plant your feet right underneath your knees, hands on your thighs, and then you rock forward and shoulder blades down, bring your heart forward, look up. As you exhale, you round back. So you're still getting some movement through your spine without having to be on hands and knees. Okay, so that's an option. Okay. And if you are on hands and knees and cat-cowing and you want to add that circular movement of your hips, you can just circle your hips over your knee as you continue to cat-cow. So when I do this, I find that as I take my hips back, that's when I come into the cow pose. And then as I circle my hips forward, that's when I arch into cat. But don't overthink it. You just kind of circle the hips and continue to think about cat-cowing. Your head and your neck's going to want to get into the action as well, so you just let it move as it needs to. If you are circling your hips, you're going to just take it in the other direction. Now, if that does not feel good in your body, then just keep sliding through the center line of cat-cow. Good. All right, and now let's bring it to neutral spine. From here, we're going to come into a child's pose. So bring your big toes together, your knees slightly apart, and then you're going to start to sink your hips towards your heels. Some of you might want to have like a folded blanket back here between your back of your calf and your thigh. Some of you might want to have a block for underneath your sternum and another one for underneath your head, right? So let yourself have the support you need. Arms reaching forward, palms are grounded, but then think about lifting the underbelly of your wrists lightly off the floor. Shoulder blades slide down the back. Armpits are lifting off the floor, so you're not just collapsing. And take a beat here. Forehead is grounded onto something if you're in this. And then you can gently rock your forehead a little side to side. Take a breath in, soften your mouth, soften your face. And then we're going to inhale to come on up. We're going to take the blanket out if we're using it. And from here, let's just come up to a standing pose. So we just come up to standing. I'll adjust the camera. And take a moment to arrive into standing. Feel yourself standing now on your feet. So get your feet maybe just hip width apart and just stand into, your natural stance. And just take a moment and look down at your feet. So I have a pattern. My right foot always is a little bit ahead of my left. So I'm going to slide it back. If you have other patterns, sometimes people naturally duck feet out or pigeon toe in. So just adjust your feet so they're more or less on the same line and all 10 toes are pointing forward, and just notice how that feels. So last week we worked on connecting in with our foundation into earth. So taking a moment always to establish your connection with your grounding, your foundation. Okay, and then we're going to shrug our shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Again, forward, up, back, and down. All right, and then let's just take a beat and find Tadasana, mountain pose. So feel your feet, feel the four corners of each foot, grounding into the earth as you lift your inner arches and your inner ankles, lifting your inner knees and rolling your inner thighs back. Taking that tailbone into the earth, reach the crown of the head up into sky. Nice and tall, shoulder blades slide back and down, and then broaden that kidney band area. And now feel your core. So gently think about your navel. Bring your awareness to your navel and gently hug your navel back, almost like the navel is moving back towards the spine and it's spreading. And then a slight lift, right? All right. So feel your core. We did a lot of work here to kind of activate the core and bring our awareness there. So stay connected with the core as we move through here. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up overhead. And now as we exhale, we're going to swan dive. So bend your knees as you need. You can bring your hands onto your thighs. For those of you who don't feel quite steady, you can, again, have a chair. And you can have a chair in front of you. You can bring your hands onto your chair, right? Otherwise, hands on our thighs, or you can even bring your hands onto your shins if you have the range. Let's lift the heart up halfway. Inhale. So spine parallel to the floor, shoulder blades away from the ears. And then exhale, bend your knees a little to forward fold. We're going to pulse up and down. So again, you can use the chair. Halfway lift as you inhale and fold as you exhale. One more time. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold as you exhale. Press into your feet as we bring it all the way back up. Inhaling, rise, rise, rise. And now really connect in with the fluidity of water. Open to the right, palms facing the right, thumbs pointing up. Look back at your right thumb. Inhale, bring it up through center. And exhale, open to the left. Palms facing the left, thumbs pointing up. Look back at your left thumb. Inhale up through center. Good. Clasp your right wrist, ground down through your right foot, and exhale, tip it to the left. Inhale through center, ground and lengthen. Exhale, tip it to the right. Inhale up through center, and again, swan dive. Halfway lift as we inhale, fold as we exhale. Root to rise, bring it all the way up. Again, clasping your right wrist, grounding through the right foot, and exhale, tip it to the left. Up through center again. Second side, tip it to the right. Open it up. We're going to open to the left now. Palms face the left, thumbs point up, look back. Inhale through center, and exhale, other side. Good. Bring it back through center, and exhaling, dive. Last one. Halfway lift as we inhale, fold as we exhale. Root to rise, bring the whole thing up. Palms touch at the top. And exhale, slide it down. And then release. All right. From here, let's go ahead and take it back to the floor. But we're going to come onto our bellies now. So arriving onto your belly. You can stack your hands, one hand on top of the other as a little pillow for your forehead. And just allow yourself to land onto the floor here. So now feel your front body connected to the earth. As you breathe, maybe you can feel more expansion and movement through your back body. Maybe you can feel the belly pressing into the earth in the front body. Okay, and then from here, start to press your toenails into the floor. As you press your toenails into the floor, you feel your legs active. Your kneecaps might come off the floor. Maintain that as you start to think about hugging your outer ankles in and then rolling your inner thighs up to the sky. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Keep your tailbone long, so you're keeping your low back long. You're going to start to press into your hands to lift your chest a little bit. Shoulder blades down the back. Think about lifting your navel up towards your chin now. And then exhale, gently release it back down. We're going to come into that again, so you can change the other hand stacked on top. Again, activate your legs. So press the toenails into the floor, kneecaps come off the floor, hug the outer ankles gently in, lengthen that tailbone long. Press your front pubic bone into the earth, and then pressing down through your hands, shoulder blades down the back, lifting your heart. Think about sliding your belly button up towards your chin, back of the neck long, so shoulders are not up in your ears, shoulder blades sliding away from the ears, down towards the back. Good, now you can keep it here, or if it's appropriate, you can start to spin your hands forward, coming towards more of a Sphinx pose. So you can keep it here, whatever height you're at, or you can start to spin your hands forward. And if you have the range, you can even hug the elbows in so your forearms become parallel. That's going to be a little bit higher. Shoulder blades down. Good. And then again, when you're ready, let's bring it back down. We're going to come into that one more time. Now, if this is too much for you, for some of you, this may not be appropriate. You can always have like a blanket. You know, you can kind of roll it up into a small roll and put it right underneath, right above your chest, right underneath the armpits. And there, that can just kind of help support you. And you can come into a lighter, a smaller lift. Yeah? So that's always an option. Okay. But we're coming into this whole expression one more time. So you're going to do what's appropriate for you. So whether that's using the blanket right above your chest, underneath the armpits there for a little lift, or you're coming up, activate your legs, press your toenails down, lengthen your tailbone long, press down through the front pubic bone, start to lift up. So again, if you're able to come into this Sphinx pose, keep that tailbone long. So don't let your low back crunch. So you don't want to crunch your low back. Keep lengthening the tailbone long. Keep the low back long. If your hands are forward and you want to come up even higher, you can press into the palms to start to lift the elbows into seal pose. And then you can walk the hands in for even more, but more is not better. So listen to your body, what's appropriate here. Shoulder blades down, navel still lifting towards the chin. Good. Not crunching the back of the neck. So try to avoid crunching the back of the neck to look up. Keep the back of the neck long. Telescope the back of the neck, back of the skull up. And only if you're able to maintain the length in the neck do you start to look up more. And then slowly bring the whole thing down. And then let's go ahead and just bring our hands by the sides of the body. Spin your head to one side and just take a rest here. So your head's turned to one side, your arms are resting to the side. Just let the shoulders fall away from each other. And take a big breath in and sigh it out. And now we're going to come into locust pose, so forehead down. Hands by the sides of the body. Same action in the legs. Press your toenails into the earth. Lengthen your tailbone long. Shrug your shoulder blades down the back and start to lift your heart, lift your head. Keep the back of the neck long, shoulder blades sliding away from the ears. You can keep your hands on the floor and feet on the floor, or if you can lift your hands and you can also lift your feet. Wherever you're at, find a little more height, breathing. Make sure you're still breathing. Notice how it feels to breathe in this pose. A little more height. And then like a parachute, gently landing, or like something moving through water, landing to the bottom of the ocean. Nice and slow. Turn your head to the other direction. Take a beat. Take a breath in. And again, a big sigh out. We're going to come into locust pose just one more time. So some different options. You can do what we just did. If it's available, you can clasp your hands behind your back. If that doesn't work for you, but you want to play with that, you can use a strap between the hands, right? So activate your legs, toenails into the earth, kneecaps lift, hug those outer ankles in, lengthen that tailbone long, inner thighs rolling up, shrug your shoulder blades down, press down into the pubic bone, lifting the heart, back of the neck long. And then maybe lifting your arms. If you have the hand clasp, you can lift the hands off the hips behind you, and maybe adding your feet. Breathing. Good. And again, maybe a little more height if you have it. Breathe. Make sure you're breathing. No holding of the breath. And then again, exhaling slowly, lower. Turn your head back to the first side as you let your hands rest by the sides of the body. So release the clasp. Take a big breath in. And again, sigh it out. Every time we come here, see how quickly can you release all the doing. There's nothing to do in this moment. Simply dropping in. Okay, and I know I said the last one was the last one, but we're going to do just one more of those. Last one. I promise, I promise. Okay, forehead down. So either one of the previous two we just did, or this time you might take your arms towards the top, forehead down. Same action in the legs, toenails press into the earth, knees lift off the floor, hug those outer ankles in, inner thighs roll up, tailbone long. And then when you're ready, pressing down through the front pubic bone, lifting the heart. And now you can lift your arms, lift your feet, if you're coming along with me on this journey. Now as you inhale, bend your elbows into cactus arms to lift your heart. And then reach long. So moving with your breath, see if it works better to inhale in this or exhale. Maybe it's better to exhale in this. And then inhale, you reach long. Let's just do two more. So cactus arms as you lift, and then lengthen the arms as you reach. Last one. Okay, and reach long, and then sweep your arms down by the side body. Lift one more time. And exhale, release to the floor. Spin your head back to the second side. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. And again, just settle. From here, you can bend your knees, feet in the air, and just windshield wiper your feet a little side to side. And then we're going to go ahead and roll onto our backs, and we're setting up for our final resting pose of Shavasana. So if you have something to place underneath your head as a pillow, that's really a nice thing to have. If you have something to cover your eyes with, you can cover your eyes. If you've got some blocks or bolsters or anything to help lift underneath your knees, that helps release the low back. So I've got a strap, I could cover my eyes. And then just let your arms rest to the sides, palms up if that's comfortable. But if your hands hover in the air for palms up, then better to spin your palms down, place your hands on your body. Just allow yourself to come into your final resting pose. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Clear it out through your mouth. And then drop even your breath control. And soften your mouth. Relax around your eyes. Soften the back of the throat, the tongue. And then bring your awareness back into your belly center. Without any effort now, just observe the breath that's breathing. See the slight rise and fall of your belly. And now imagine your belly like this beautiful, tranquil lake, maybe up in the mountains, surrounded by these snow-capped mountains, spring flowers blooming along the banks of the river, banks of the lake. And the lake, it's so still that it's like a mirror. It reflects the blue sky and the white puffy clouds. And the water is so clear that the sunlight penetrates all the way through to the bottom. So you're welcome to stay in this position as long as you like. I'm going to be turning things over back to Katie. So thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kat, for another wonderful demonstration. That was really great. Give me just a moment. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the book that I selected. So this week's theme is water, which is characterized by fluidity, adaptability, and change. I've selected the book The People We Keep by Allie Larkin to share with you. Larkin is the author of 3 novels, The People We Keep being the latest. It currently has a 4.15 rating with over 62,000 ratings on Goodreads. Set in the 1990s, the story is about teen April Sawicki, who lives with her dad in a motorhome in Little River, New York. She's desperate to get out of her small town where she's failing out of school, working at the local diner, and writing songs on her guitar, dreaming of performing one day. April borrows her neighbor's car to go to an open mic night and gets a glimpse of what could be. After a fight with her dad where he smashes her guitar, April makes a decision to finally leave for good, even though she doesn't know where she'll go. She starts packing her things haphazardly, writes a note to her friend to say goodbye, and sets out on the highway. She lands in Ithaca, a New York college town that seems to hold promise, as well as the chance for meaningful relationships. As she travels, she chronicles her journey in the songs that she writes. She encounters people who feel like family and experiences different types of love, learning along the way to accept the love that she never thought she deserved. This is a beautiful and heartwarming lyrical tale about love, choosing to belong, and the people we keep. You'll feel all the emotions. You'll laugh, you'll cry, as you follow April as she finds her family and herself. The People We Keep is available in ebook, audio, and physical formats in the library collection right now, so you can check it out for yourself. Well, thank you again for joining us for Reach and Read, and a big thank you to Kat. We'll be back next Thursday, April 27th at 10 a.m., so we hope to see you then. So to find a library location near you, sign up for a library card, or to learn about upcoming programs for all ages, just go to www.saclibrary.org. So for Kat, myself, and the Sacramento Public Library, thank you so much and be well. Bye!